in the Special Forces Group at Fort Bragg, North Carolina. He served in Iraq. He served in Afghanistan. And during his career at 3rd Special Forces Group, he served as a Special Forces Communications Sergeant and Sniper Detachment as a sniper instructor. It was during the harrowing battle of Shok Valley in 2008 that he would lose his leg to sniper fire, and yet return fire of his own for 4 more hours with his severed lower limb tied to his own thigh. For his bravery, he received the Silver Star Medal, the Bronze Star Medal, and yes, a Purple Heart. Post-injury, he attended Special Forces Sniper School, and upon graduation, became the first amputee ever to become a Green Beret sniper. He's also founded 2 companies, Gallantry Logistics and Live to Give Beverage Company. You say, Live to Give, Scott, what might that be? Well, this is a company, and he is a proud supporter of the Armed Forces Bowl and donates half, 50% of the company's net proceeds to charities that support active military members, also veterans, and also first responders in our world. Talk about real heroes. We have yet another iconic gentleman to share a great message with us all today. So ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome an incredible gentleman, a real hero in his own right, John Wayne Walding.
No, thank you very much for having me here. It's humbling to be invited. And I'm just going to state the obvious. Brent, y'all must have been hard up for talent. You asked this redneck from Grosbeck to come speak. Let me tell you how redneck Grosbeck is. We come from 3,500 people, but we had a $10 million football field growing up. That's right. we had turf at 90. That's how redneck it is for Rumford. In fact, we let a Dairy Queen go under. How does the Texas stop sign go under, but we got turf at 90? That's what Grosbeck's all about, and that's who I am and where I come from. No, but in all honesty, whenever I got the call to come talk to you all about overcoming adversity and what that means to me, well, nothing brings more adversity than losing a leg, right? And what that harrowing battle of Shok Valley was that day. And to let's sum that up, right? Instead of just trying to give you a lesson of all the research that I've done of what overcoming means, how about I just give you my testimony and be real with you for a little bit? Sound like a good plan?
Hurrah.
All right, well, April 6th, Operational Attachment Alpha, which is a Green Beret team, 3336, we went up against, which is about 15 Americans, right? We went up against 250 Taliban fighters. After 6.5 hours, there were 70 danger close airstrikes. 10 Silver Stars were awarded, 2 of those which were upgraded to the Medals of Honor. There were 8 Purple Hearts awarded, and then let's do the numbers. 8 out of 15 got shot. So going on the battlefield or the football field, how do you like that half your offense is going to get taken out, right? Who's ready for that, Coach? But out of the 8 Purple Hearts, the best statistic I always give, which is 0, and that's 0 American killed. Think about what that means to the enemy, to where they can go, 250 of them can go up against 15 Americans and they lose. Right? But not everybody wants to talk about April 7th, 2008, right? Because that's not the end of the story. That's the beginning of me as a 26-year-old Green Beret waking up in Bagram Airfield, looking up at ceiling tiles, which look similar to what we see here today, terrified. I didn't want to look down because I knew the next moment I'd find out whether I had one leg or two. And whenever I looked down and I found that out, that for the rest of my life I can't walk, I cried. I yelled, I screamed. I did what every normal human being would do, right? What am I going to do? I got a wife and kids. What am I going to do now? All this that I've given to become this Green Beret, and I can't walk, right? That inevitability. All these motivational speakers that talk about there's no such thing you can't. No, I can't. No matter how much effort I give, without the aid of a prosthetic device, there's no walking for me. And so let me tell you a couple things that helped me get over that. First and foremost, that helped me overcome that word was God.
You're right.
I'm not here to preach at you and tell you whether you believe in Buddha or baby Jesus. But I'll tell you right now, God is real, God loves me, and God is the reason why I'm here today. The reason why I know that is real, because I had my back on the battlefield and I gave it to Him. Like it was mentioned earlier, I actually on the battlefield grabbed my leg that was hanging by a 45-degree angle only by an inch of flesh and pulled it in between my thighs and held it there for the rest of the battle. Which I didn't lose it, by the way. Everybody says I lost my leg. Hey, I had accountability, right? Officer, you got to have accountability. Couldn't it? I knew where it is, sir. This didn't work. But I gave all I had that day, and I knew it wasn't enough. And when I said, God, this is yours, if I make it out of here, it's because of you. That's what helped me change my mindset to why me. Who's ever had those, right? Why me, God? Why did I miss that tackle? Why did I make that catch? Why did I get picked? Why did I lose that game? Well, because He's the reason I'm alive. It's not my job to wonder why me. It's my job to do the best that I can on His path. So you turn that mindset into why me to what's the lesson? Right? What are you teaching me? And pray that you have the patience to find out what that answer is. And for God taking my leg from me, you want to know what that answer was, what that lesson was? It was humility. It was gratitude. It was 10 years of me now knowing that you can only grow in life without struggle. Right? Who here's ever had an easy day and learned something from it? Other than how awesome it is to have easy days. And so I want you to remember that when you're in that battle, when you're in there and you're having to lean forward and fight hard, that struggle is good. That nothing good happens unless it's hard. And when you test yourself and you come out on the other side, that's what helps you make who you are today. Second thing to help me overcome my injury, that word can't, was my family. You know, I always say that I had 2 kids before I was shot and 2 kids after I was shot, so suck that, Taliban. I got 2 more infidels. So we don't die, we multiply. See what happens. But in all seriousness, my wife, I call her the Green Beret of moms. We've homeschooled our 4 kids for, 9 years now. And to have them be with me every step of the way, to have that north-seeking arrow of what right looks like, that's what helped me overcome it. And I always tell this memory, because again, I want to be real with y'all. Whenever I was in Walter Reed, that's where I did the majority of my rehab, was outside of Bethesda. We had a 2-bedroom apartment, and I tell the story of my son. He was on a coffee table jumping off of it, because it's PLF, right? Parachute landing falls, teach him how to be airborne, that's what it needs to be. And I had my leg off, and I was sitting in my wheelchair. Well, he goes to fall backwards. And I do like every husband and father is supposed to do to their child, right? You stand up, you take that step to go catch him, and I miss him. Why? Because I go step on my stump that I didn't know, I forgot that I didn't have a leg. And we didn't have carpet, by the way, so he's crying because he hit the back of his head, and I'm crying because I let my son fall. But it wasn't just that I let him fall, it's because I knew why that day. It's because I was too doped up to catch him. I'm not here to gripe at the military because they do a great job. If you're hurt, they will fix you. But I always like to put things in perspective so people know, that all the medicine that I was taking, right? Who here has ever heard of a Percocet, right? Do you know what's actually in it? Because it's not the medicine, right? Percocet's just something marketing company said, hey, this will sell. What's actually inside a Percocet, it's 325 milligrams of acetaminophen, that's Tylenol, and it's 5 milligrams of Oxycontin. That's the good stuff, right? They were prescribing me 80 milligrams of Oxy 3 times a day. On top of anti-psych meds, on top of anti-inflammatory meds, on top of anti-meds, right? I was absolutely a zombie. And on the floor that day, I knew I had a choice. I could either choose pain and be myself, or I could choose those drugs and be a zombie. And watching him fall, I realized that day I'm going to choose pain. And it was one of the hardest things I ever did, and that's what helped me overcome there, because if you don't know anything about what it's like to be in the military, anything worth doing is worth overdoing, right? Or if you read the bottle and they say, well, it says take no more than 3. Well, that means in Green Beret terms, that means 6, right? Because that's what we think. And I have that ability, and that's what we all have. If you are operating at the highest level like you athletes are right now, you want to win, and you're going to do everything it takes to win, because you're going to work harder and you're going to be there longer. And I had that same, and it was just taking over me. And it helped me get over that. It was one of the hardest things I ever did. So if it wasn't for my family, I wouldn't have got off all the hard stuff and get that clear head and sober mind. The last thing that helped me overcome this debilitating word can't, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, it's you, Americans. Never underestimate the magnitude of what the 2 words, thank you, means to a veteran. If you don't believe me, ask the Vietnam gentlemen that are sitting right there. People forget that they didn't just go to war, they were drafted, right? I wanted to go to war. John Wayne, Green Beret, born on 4th of July, right? The guy that put it black and white, he did for me on what I'm supposed to do, right? They got drafted, they made up, didn't dodge the draft, they went down there, did the best that they could, and what happened when they got back? They got spit on. They got called baby killers. I know friends that didn't even want to leave the airport in their uniform because they didn't want to get treated like a second-rate citizen. That happened here, and we should never forget that. You know what happened to me whenever I got shot and I lost this leg for my country? I got a bear hug of thank you, of genuine, unfiltered gratitude from the citizens that want me to know that my sacrifice was worth it. Hell, I even had a race named after me. Google it, John Wayne 2014. I had a John Wayne 400 over at the Brickyard. It was NASCAR. I don't get much more American than that. And to be on that stage and to see everybody just come together to thank this little redneck from Groesbeck, Texas for serving my country. You know, it's that validation, because we all have to answer that question, right? Whether it's on the football field, whether it's on the battlefield, whether it's in the boardroom, is it worth it? Is all this stuff, all this sacrifice I'm doing worth it? And that you give me is that validation. And that's why I am not just a citizen, but I'm a successful citizen, right? That's why I was the first amputee to graduate Green Beret Snapper School. Why I've ran Dallas Marathon. I've done the Baton Death March twice, which is one of the hardest marathon routes in the world with 45 pounds on your back, right? Which is why I founded 2 companies that are aimed to help veterans. That is our purpose. In fact, you know, by the way, I don't know if y'all know this, we talked about Live to Give. Lockheed Martin bought a truckload of water this morning. So how about is that? They love freedom, don't they?
Right.
They love freedom. That means everything to me. Now, I'll close y'all with these 3 things, and I'll be real quick about it because I know y'all really need to listen to me speak. I had someone ask me, what do you want people to get from hearing you speak? And that's a very simple question and very hard to answer. And I prayed about it, and here's what it is. The first thing I want y'all to get is to stop being good and start being great. Think about what that means, because it means something different for every single one in here. It's a habit that you probably should get, or it may be one you need to quit, right? It could be a relationship you may need to get a little closer to, or maybe one you need to run from. And if you're sitting there right now shaking your head and saying, I'm good, well, so was I when I was a Green Beret, right? But you need to have that brutal honesty in yourself that when you look yourself in the mirror and say, hey, where do I suck at and what do I need to do to get better? Real talk, again, I'll tell you what it was for me, it was drinking. You know, the military has this long lineage of you know, when something good happens, you high five, woo, let's have a beer. And when something bad happens, you low five, you say, hey guys, let's go have a beer. You know, they teach you how to deal with death, but not deal with it, right? I could come into this room, look at you in the lights and eyes and pull the trigger, but I couldn't get that call that Ryan Savard's dead, that Willie Lover's dead, that Aaron Bellagio's dead, that Robbie Miller's dead, that Dave Hurt's dead, that Chris Kyle's dead. And after my last buddy died about 8 years ago, I did what I was supposed to do, right? I drank, toasted the fall, and pulled one for the homies. And I woke up the next morning angry. Angry because I knew that I had let them down, right? That forever, if their lives mattered that much to me, well, I owe it to them. Not just live, but live well. And that's what I looked at doing that day. And the first thing that I saw was Let's be that sober guy. Because if you hadn't noticed, I like to have fun, and I'm always the fun guy, right? I'm like the culture guy. Let's have some fun. And let me tell you something. Dropping that beer bottle was one of the hardest things I ever did. I felt like Ricky Bobby. I don't know what to do with my hands. But I can also tell you this, 8 years of sobriety, it is the best, and I want y'all to know this, it's the best gift I've ever given myself. Because I was good when I drank, right? Had a job, became a Green Beret, didn't beat my kids, didn't beat Dingster, didn't beat my dog, right? I was good. But now I am so fundamentally great that whenever I come home, I look at my kids, I don't just, grab a beer and go in the garage and work on a truck, or grab a beer and turn on the news or a sports center, right? I grab a bottle of water and I look at my son, I said, how was your day? I asked my daughters and said, what are you doing today? How'd you help mama? When I get that call that someone died, I take my kids to the movies, right? I live well for them, and sobriety is what's let me have that. The second thing I want to leave you here with is be a part of something that's bigger than yourself. And for those of you that's on a team right now and you're thinking, oh, I'm already got that one covered. Well, what's bigger, you or the team? Right? This selfie generation that we're living in, I hope that we really change. Everybody here, they want more followers, right? A bigger paycheck, a bigger following, bigger this and that. What are you doing that's bigger than you? The greatest generation sitting right there. People forget that it wasn't just soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines that won World War II. How about Americans that spent $18 billion buying war bonds to fund the war? People forget that Ford, Chevy, and Dodge stopped building automobiles in their plants and start building Willys Jeeps and bombs and airplanes. Rosie the Riveter. People forget that we came together as a country. Why? Because we had that compelling necessity to be a part of something that's bigger than us. That when we fought, not was given, but fought, bled, and died against tyranny for this American experiment, it was worth it. Right? We forget that the idea of the American experiment is that any color, any race, any creed, any religion can come here and live under what? One set of American ideals. And we need to remember that. Like, I'm half Mexican. Mama, Betty Jo Huerta, I love me some tacos, right? When I got shot, Mexico did nothing for me. Americans did. So why would I ever refer to myself as Mexican American? We want to come together? Let's start by our identity calling each other Americans, not hyphenated Americans. Teddy Roosevelt eloquently said there is no 50-50 with being an American. You either are or you're not. So let's remember that and have a little grace when we talk about our problems, because make no mistake about it, this flag that is behind me and that is draped over every coffin of servant member that gives the ultimate sacrifice, that flag is the brightest and best beacon for hope to ever exist. So let's remember to be a part of something that's big to yourself. The last thing, and I'll leave it here, be worth it. Be worth this leg that will never grow back. Be worth the holidays that I've missed. Be worth those bodies that are buried. Because I'm telling you, to me, you're worth it. That's why whenever you say thank you for my service, I don't say you're welcome. I say you're worth it. What we're doing here today is worth it. Your teammates, look to your left and right, they're worth it. When you're on that field, it doesn't matter anything other than each other that day. It doesn't matter what they said the day before or what they're going to say afterwards. What matters is right then and there, and it's about winning, right? That's worth it. And so thank you all for having me today. God bless you, and go get them.